Hello, my name is Tony Spruce and welcome to the first part of a little Christmas special. As promised last episode, we will take a little break from our usual businesses and get in spirit for the holiday season. But if I look at myself, I have to admit I don't look particularly ready for the Christmas season as of yet. So please give me a brief moment. Ah, that looks much more like it, doesn't it? Just in case my usual outfit doesn't look enough like a spruce tree already, I now literally became a dancing Christmas tree. What do you think? Do I need a little bit more sparkles? I think that's a good amount. So let's see. I was quite busy in between the episodes, gathering a lot of resources that we're going to need for our build projects. For our Christmas build projects. But we are not going to build them right here, but rather search for a better location. Even though the taiga is a fairly cold biome and you can get a little bit of Christmassy vibes around here, it's not quite perfect. I mean, I know that there are literally places in the world where they're sitting on Christmas on the beach, kinda like we did last episode, even though I'm not Australian. But I was wondering where we could find snow in this world, and I was looking right over there. It's fairly close by, if not to say literally next door, so we could always have this little holiday wonderland village in our view and still a little bit off to the sides. We have snow up here and surely we can add a little bit more snow. So what would you say if we go over there and search for a perfect spot where we can spend the holiday season? That's a cute little pond here. That apparently was a tree once. And that's all that's left. It's very tragic in a way. Okay, it's already a lovely area around here. We have a good overview of our base area. Maybe we should try to look... Oh, that's a nice spruce tree. Somewhere up there. That's an interesting formation. I mean, I don't think I have to say anything about that. Just take that in. Really looks playable. Okay, there's a goat. Goat butt. More goats. I do have the feeling one of them will be pushing me off eventually. Just like that. What is with all these cut-off trees? Seriously. But that's a nice view. I mean, it's not Christmassy at all. But looking awesome nonetheless. I'm scared of these. Okay, that's the highest peak on that mountain range. Wow. That's a dramatic beach. For 1.17, that's fairly impressive. Oh, there's an enderman. Don't look at it. Yeah, I'm actually fairly impressed with this seed. Okay, but let's camp out for the night. Oh, and don't fall down. Seriously, all these floating blocks around here. It's kind of a corrupted world already, I see. But a very beautiful one. And surely there's a bee's nest somewhere down here. Okay, don't get distracted. But then let's get a little bit planning done, shall we? Yeah, I think the tree in the center just would block off way too much. Because it would pretty much fill in the whole area here. But a tree here wouldn't be ideally for access. Now thinking about it, I actually kinda like the idea having the tree a little bit secluded. And not in the center. So... somewhere here. So that would lead to a path going down, maybe around in a curve around that hill. And we could also maybe have a bridge to span that gap here, not because there will be anything particularly behind it, but just because I like to have a bridge here, and that's, in my opinion, reason enough. And there's a skeleton down there. Don't know what I think about that. Ah, I actually got it. So maybe a small hut, but really a small one could go here? Not too sure about that, to be honest. Because it would be really cramped. We definitely could have one here. There wouldn't be the need for it to be quite so tiny. The path would then go along here. And we should definitely do something with that hill and maybe also have a little building to its side. That could work out. And we could even cram another one in here. Yeah. We'll see. Well, there's definitely lots of spaces down here. Maybe I was thinking about, since the tree isn't the central point, we could have something like fountain parks, something right here. Maybe in front there. And then in the back maybe another building. So let's mark that in. Then there would be definitely a path leading up. Oh gosh. But I don't know if there will be anything in particular up here. Other than a great view. Interesting formations around here. Maybe we can do something with this high ground also. But I don't think it would be the right spot for the tree. So we have now 5 buildings marked in. I mean, it's all very rough and just to get some idea of what we are doing. So I actually think it is time that I bring all my materials over here and we are trying to figure things out. Shall we? I'm excited for this. And I think this will gonna be great. That's interesting. Almost like my Minecraft world is trying to copy the things that are happening in 1.18. But in 1.17 style. The question is, how long will it take to transfer all that stuff up here? Probably way too long. And we need a better way up here. Even though it would kinda make sense that you don't get up here easily. It is a little bit of a struggle. Almost poetic. Oh, I was not ready for that. Let's get a little bit of distance first, shall we? I was trying to say something smart, you know? And then they rudely interrupted. Ah, the knockback, I'm telling you. Oh, Jesus, where was I? Okay. I think it was something about, wouldn't it be nice if we would have already gone to the end, killed the dragon and would have access to a great amount of ender pearls? That would make things so much easier. I mean, we could also go just to the warped forest and farm some pearls there. As we found out, endermen are found there in abundance. Let's go back on our merry way to a very peaceful place that isn't that peaceful after all, which also is very poetic in a way. The question is, as usual, where do you start? We could still put the Christmas tree over there. I mean, we could make the pathway along here, because there's a whole nother area I didn't really take into my planning so far. Yeah, we could definitely have a tree here and houses in the back. Maybe that would work even better. I don't know. So yeah, that could actually work. Then we would have a path in front and back. Then we would maybe put a house up there. But I would say we start with that hut over here. I think it would be good to flatten down that side a bit. The front would maybe then be here. maybe the back here, because that would give us a little bit room to work with. Okay, I was thinking about having gingerbread style houses, and on the sides we have the two colored pillars of concrete, and for in between the columns I thought of using stripped dark oak logs. And just in case you're wondering, I'm actually using a Vanilla Tweaks resource pack to have the 1.18 texture for the stripped dark oak blocks, since that 1.18 texture makes much more sense and is much more in line with the color of the dark oak planks and the inner of the blocks. For the roof I will do it then this time a little bit different than I usually would do it, because I usually try to make the roofs darker than the walls, but here it would be the other way around. And it just gives it a little bit of a different vibe and makes it look very interesting in my opinion. Also want to have a high roof, but maybe not too grand. Just a little bit. Yeah, that worked flawlessly, didn't it? Absolutely flawlessly. I don't know why anybody would say anything different. These are pigs over there. For a moment I thought they were snow golems. And that really confused me. Maybe there literally is another player in this world. I just haven't found them yet. Who knows? Okay, no, seriously. I actually love that. That works out better than I thought it would. Let's maybe finish up the frame and see if we still like it then. With these builds it's always kind of difficult to deciding on the right size. You don't want to make them too large, but also you want to have the buildings kinda usable and also don't look too much out of place compared to the rest of your builds. So what do you do? And especially when designing houses, it's really easy to get them really big really quickly. And when you're working in such an environment like Minecraft, oftentimes it's creating small things that still look good that is the toughest part. It's not that difficult to create a huge base that looks awesome, but it's really tough to create a small one that looks awesome. Because you have only so many possibilities, only so much space to work with. So that's a real challenge. In my own builds that was always a bit of a weak point. If you would know my old worlds, the builds there are pretty much blocky and not very defined at all, lacking details and generally being a little bit like the post-war concrete buildings. Just meant to do their job, but not anything else. But with this Let's Play I really have the opportunity to improve on that a little bit. Okay, the roof is a little bit overwhelming for the building, let's be honest, but for the style I'm going that could actually work. And I don't really want to make it shorter. We could make it shorter for the other buildings, but I think we will leave it at that with this one. Then let's fill in the walls and continue from there. Really hope I have enough dark oak. Looking at match I'm already using up here, I am a little bit worried about that. Yeah, that would work out great. Get the torches out of your offhand. It's driving me nuts. So the next important order is to figure out where to put a chimney. Definitely that side. The only question is rather to the back or to the front. I also wanted to have a side entrance there, and I want that side entrance rather to the back, so the chimney has to go to the front, but I also want the chimney towards the back. Or we do the chimney to the other side, but I don't want that either. Where would it go? I don't want it to be that massive. That would be already big enough. Maybe something like that. I'm not too sure about the floorings. We might do stripped spruce for the ground level, like we did in our main base. I mean, that's a thing that just always works. But we can't do spruce planks for the upper floor because then it would be exactly the same like the roof itself. I also don't really want to make dark oak since I'm already getting low on that. So we have to see about that. I mean, what we could use up there is maybe striped birch, but I also don't have a lot of that. Or maybe just simply birch planks. That would give for a little bit of color contrast. Maybe we want to have a little roof. That would be spawnable, that's also not ideal. Maybe we should make the roofs out of trapdoors. I mean, to be honest, aren't trapdoors a solution for pretty much everything? Trapdoors and leaves. If a build doesn't look good, it simply needs more trapdoors or leaves, and maybe even both. That's gonna be expensive. I really thought all the wood gathering I did would last for the whole village, but nope. It will hopefully last for this episode, but I definitely have to get more for next one. But that's totally fine. So then we could remove that one. That also looks kinda strange, doesn't it? That could work out. Yeah, I enjoy the look of that. So have the unlit campfires as kind of firewood lying around. Definitely need a third one, don't we? Ow, ow, ow. Okay. Who knew that it would hurt to stand on top of a campfire? Okay. Mission accomplished. Maybe. Okay, I do like it, but also it doesn't stand out as much as I wanted to. The spruce and the dark oak, I mean, who knew there would be two pretty neutral colors. I mean, imagine having the roof out of birch. That would look fancy, we might do it for another building, but we also have to do something with that one. I mean, maybe it comes together with its surroundings in place. If I do look like I wouldn't know what I'm doing, then it is because I don't know what I'm doing. When I was talking about that building small is kind of a challenge, then that's what I was talking about. My instinct just tells me to make the fireplace bigger. But that would maybe get out of proportions for the rest of the house. And I definitely don't want the chimney to get any bigger than it already is. Maybe I have to make it a little bit bigger after all. Yeah, I think that could be alright. Yeah, that actually looks nice. I'd even like that. I mean, it's a little bit blocky on top. I mean, I could exchange these for wooden blocks, but structure-wise it doesn't make too much sense. It improves the look. So we go with that, I suppose. Then I could also replace these blocks back there. Yeah, it's coming together, I think. I probably would want to fill most of that in. Okay, but I should let this grass spread first, I suppose. Yeah, because that's all just stone. And the other path would actually split in two directions. But it also would go along here. And somewhere over that. What actually is that even? A wannabe cave? Something like that. Surface cave. And the path would probably snake around here. I'm probably going to run out of dirt very quickly. Something that never happened to me before in this series. Well, I'm lying. It happens all the time to me, apparently. Don't know what it is, but I can't get my hands on enough dirt. So then let's fill that in. I mean, we have silk touch. So that might be actually easier to do it like that. Perfect. And I was thinking, since here is not a lot of space, that might be a good spot for a little horse stable. I know we don't even have a horse yet, but you know, why not get already prepared for the day we maybe get one eventually. I don't know if I should flatten that all. Actually, I like that there's a little bit of an hill here. But we might cut it back a bit. And the stable would probably start about here. And that's really supposed to be not big at all. Okay, we need to build up the terrain a little bit more. Well, that's no issue at all. And for that maybe a slanted roof would do the trick. So build up the front pillars a little bit higher than the back ones. And for the back I would want a solid wall, just open to the sides and to the front. Maybe on the sides, one block high here, but level with the ground to the front. Maybe I want the fence to even jut out a bit. That would mean we have a row of wooden planks in the front and fill it in with dirt. Then let's put 2 fence gates to the sides. And then maybe really try the birch roof. Working here is a little bit precarious, but I mean that's pretty much the definition of the game. I think another row of stairs and then the continuation with slabs would probably be good. That of course means that we have spawnable surface, which is never too great, but I think we can work with that. I mean, it's not a massive surface, so what are the odds that a creeper is going to spawn right the moment when I'm next to it and blows me up? Yeah, probably way too high, I know. But it's gonna be fine, I'm sure of that. Now I would try to bring it back down a bit. Probably just for 1/2 slab. I mean, I could put a stair in front. Nah, that wouldn't really work out, would it? I could use a stair if I would make it a little bit more flat in general. Yeah, let's try this. I'm not perfectly happy with that shape. So if I remove this row of blocks, then we can bring that down a bit. And then we can finish it off with stairs. And I need upside down stairs on the inside to make it consistent. And then we have actually quite an interesting shape. Yeah, I like that much better. That's perfect. Connect it up to the path. Actually add in the path. I forgot about that. Then we can add a few hay bolts to the mix. And maybe we could put a few composters around. We don't even need them on the outside, I don't think. As long as we put bushes down of some sort. I think that could already work like that. Or does it? I'm not too sure. And I'm thinking on the interior. I mean, the roof looks horribly bland. If we put the edge around, it makes them... Yeah, I mean, the roof isn't particularly high enough for that. So that's not really gonna work. Maybe we could try something with trapdoors. I mean, that's always an option. So that's fairly similar what I also did at a main base. But that could just be the right amount. So then we could put here a smoker, maybe even with a campfire beneath it. Perfect. Cauldron for a sink. And now the stonecutter really feels out of place, doesn't it? And probably, as usual, a couple more trapdoors. And those really finish off the side nicely. And that corner really feels like an armorston place to me. Hey, awesome, I have no armor to put on that, but it looks good anyway. And the other thing I wanted to do was to put the first candy cane somewhere. I'm not too sure where exactly. Maybe in between here would be a little bit too much, but on the opposite side could work. So like here. Yes, I think that's a good location. Then there's a question about the height. I don't want it to be overwhelmingly big, but not particularly short either. And then we probably arc over with the red one. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think so. I don't like that. Maybe it would be enough if I just finished it off like that. Oh yes, that could work. And then these could also act at the same time as lanterns. I don't know if that makes sense or if I'm even going to keep that, but it's an idea. So, I know we don't have a horse yet. We will attend to that matter, probably next episode. And for now, maybe try to work on the bridge I've talked about. I don't know why, but I just want to have a bridge here. And I have to do it right now, even though it's really not important at all. But that's totally fine. We would probably start about here. How long is even the distance? Maybe in the middle is more around here. Then we can try to curve down from here and see where that would lead us. That actually seems quite workable to me. Then let's just put a stampy little path in it to give the impression it will lead somewhere. Maybe we should put a crafting bench in the middle of the bridge. It makes no sense, but it's very handy indeed. Okay, but seriously now, what did I do? How did I mess that up? How? Why? Okay, let's repair the damage that was done. Oh god. And don't die in the process. Great that we have those feather falling boots, isn't it? You can just carelessly fall off things without a worry in the world. It's not that I thought about it beforehand, you know, but you can always say it afterwards that you did. Little top tip. Just pretend it was all planned. Okay, is it mean if I only have guard railing on the top? It's a little bit deadly, but I mean, deadly is the definition of this game. I know what you're thinking, I wanted to have that bridge at all costs, and now I'm not happy with that. Well, we have to widen it after all. I'm not sure if that will optically work. But let's try it out anyway. It makes the platforms look a little bit detached from one another, but that could be alright, I think. If slabs don't do the trick, maybe try with stairs. It's always the next step of emergency. Definitely getting more texture, not necessarily in a good way, but at least in some way, which I think is a good thing. But let's get rid of these stairs again. I'm not too sure about that. I'm not perfectly happy with the bridge, but I think that could work out, at least for now. But in the meantime, it does the job. And we have to figure out a purpose, of course, for the space over here. I mean, it's at the moment just a pit of death and that floating platform. So I've now gone ahead and added a few decorational items. I put leaves for bushes around, snow blocks, fences with lanterns, and even planted a few pumpkin seeds which have yet to grow. And with all these little touches, I think that whole place feels a lot more like home now, a lot more welcoming than just the grey stone mountains. But with that, I'm afraid, we're at the end of today's episode. Needless to say, there's still much more to be done, which will result into a rather ambitious next episode, which also will release before Christmas, just in time so you have something to watch over the holidays. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I had quite a blast recording this episode. I hope you had too, watching it. Thank you for all your nice comments and your support on the series. And see you next time. Take good care and have a good time. Bye!